So next up we looked at the codes and conventions of double page spreads because this was the second ancillary task we had to create. So again, like the posters, we analysed real media texts, so real double page spreads, and we then created some drafts of our own which then helped us to create our final one. So we basically were enabled to create our final one to such a good success because we had a good idea on what the codes and conventions were that we could follow. So the first code and convention that we saw was another large focal image just like the posters. This image we noticed usually took up one side of the double page spread, so it would fill up one page mainly. So that's what we decided to do in ours. The next code and convention was pull quotes. So this would be embedded around the main text. So there would be bits that were taken out, which were much larger and were mainly really like exaggerated quotes or bits that were really exciting and interesting, which basically the audience are drawn to before they actually start reading, and if these are effective then they will entice the audience to read the whole text. And that leads me on to the next convention, which is the text is usually an interview, and so it's an interview with the main star or the producer, which is what again we decided to use for ours, so that's mainly used for double page spreads. And furthermore, the next convention, the text is mainly arranged in columns, which is just really stylistic, and it looks really professional, so that's why we chose that as a convention and we further implicated it in our own work. We also noticed that on most of the double page spreads, the main star or the producer or the person that the double page spread is about, their name is usually in bold compared to the other text, just to draw attention to it and show that it's the main piece of information, that it's important. Yeah. The next convention is a stand first or a tagline. So these are very common for posters and double page spreads which advertise. Some of them have them, some of them don't. We decided to use one for our double page spread instead of the poster because we thought that the poster would be more effective, more plain, and the double page spread would be more effective with loads of text on it. So we used the tagline in ours, and it's a common code and convention of double page spreads. And our one was, "Will you join the other side?" And our tagline for ours was, "Will you join the other side?" The next coding convention is, aside from the really large focal image, they also use smaller relevant images as well to fill up space on the other side or wherever the large focal image isn't. So this was evident in most of the double page spreads again. A lot of them will only have one or two pictures, one being the large focal image and then another one on the other side, so it's not too boring on the other side. Another coding convention we noticed was that a lot of the double page spreads have a colour scheme or follow a certain colour scheme. We especially noticed this on the Call the Midwife double page spread, where there's a colour scheme of baby blue and light pink, which obviously connotes babies and their baby colours, and you've got the light blue for boys and light pink for girls. So this was a typical coding convention. We also noticed that page numbers obviously were used at the bottom, so again we just put that in ours. It's just really simple, it's a really small thing but really makes it look professional. And last of all, the last main coding convention is that the first letter of the text is enlarged just like it is in newspapers, magazines, and yeah, so that just makes it look really stylistic and professional, and is a nice way to start off the text. Thank you!